What's up there, people? How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully your day is going okay. Let's do what we're here today for. Madrid nil, Celta Vigo 2, right? What does this game mean for Madrid? It was everything. After what they did to Atletico, I came out here telling you everything that I did tell you and what that game meant, right? Because that game against Atletico or Athletic Club put them 1 point behind Barcelona, which is sitting first at the moment. But now this game against Celta Vigo and this loss at the Bernabeu put them 4 points behind them. And this thing, and in this type of title race, especially knowing that it's against Barcelona, and they don't look like they're going to fumble. I know they're struggling with injuries and all of that madness, right? And I get it. But losing to Celta Vigo at home is nuts. It's not unacceptable. It shouldn't be happening. Listen, I know I'm not an in and out Madrid fan, but listen, I don't hate the club either, right? Listen, in Spain, if I'll pick one club to win, a La Liga, maybe Atletico Madrid, and then followed by Real Madrid. Barcelona is below and below everybody but Barcelona. But what's happening here, right? You have one good game against Atletico, like I said, right? Xavi came out and said, this is one of our best performances, of the entire season. And I agree with him, right? And now, after one of your best performances, you just put out one of your worst performances that we all have ever seen. If you've been watching Madrid, if you've been following Madrid, now, is it equally the worst performance? Now, to understand, I get what people are saying because I'm a Chelsea fan and I know what Chelsea do on a regular, right? When we play against lower division team, right, I know Celta Vigo is sitting 10 on the table right now, on Laliga table, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe they might move up after the game. But looking at where they sit, we're looking at where they are in the competition, right? You going to play Celta Vigo at home, there shouldn't be any kind of a problem. Now, you would think Madrid is coming out of this game with a win, at least a win. Not anything less than, maybe they will come out with less goal than people expect, but at least they're coming out with a win. But it turns out not to be like that. And I know playing against low block team or not a low table team is very much difficult. And the reason why it's difficult because they come there with a game plan. And that game plan is as simple as ABC. Now, everybody will expect you to be able to conquer it because of the caliber of player that Real Madrid have. And like I said, I'm a Chelsea fan and I've seen this day in, day out and how this type of thing can hurt you. They came in with a game plan and the game plan was as simple. Let Madrid have the ball. We are home. They are home. Even if they are not at home, they have better quality than we do. They have, great players, like I said, than we do. And they are home. The atmosphere is there. They're going to have the ball. So we are not going to go foot to foot with them in terms of possession. We're going to sit. We're going to stay compact. We're going to, wait for our movement. And then we're going to hurt Madrid when we can. Right? And they did exactly that. Because in terms of creating chances, I don't think Celta Vigo did create that many chances. No. If you watch the game, not that many. Now, did they have that moment? But one thing that they also did, right, if you watch the game, like that low block can be absolutely frustrating. Anybody that watched football playing against a low block team can be really, really frustrating. Like it's easy to get frustrated. And we saw that with the whole Madrid team today. But I have 3 things for you today. Why I think this game cost Madrid, who is to be blamed, and what Madrid can do better, right? Let's get into it. Number 1, Xabi Alonso, yes, I know, right? I came out the other day, I was saying good stuff about him. And as a manager, this does not mean I doubt him as a manager. No, not necessarily. But this particular game that Madrid just lost, I cannot look at anybody else but Xavi. Because if you look at it, right, Madrid went from where they did to Atletico to this. First of all, look at the entire backline. Pay attention to the entire backline. What you see in that backline is inconsistency at the highest level. Right now, and that speak volume. That speak, so much volume. That speak on a lot of things as well. Because now, as much as I'm going to talk about Xavi and what I'm blaming him for this loss, I'm also going to talk about the players as well later down the line. So stay tuned for that. But Xavi, sorry, what was that? What was that lineup? Asensio, that backline. Asensio, Militao. In that entire backline, the only person I can say I trust to understand is Militao. I told you he's been getting or he's been finding his foot lately. He's not there yet for me to say, okay, I trust this geezer. No, not yet. Right? Frank Garcia, no. No, absolutely not. So I don't know what Xavi was doing, but whatever he was doing, it was not it. It was not working. I can tell you that with that back line, because if you look at the midfield, I'm okay with the midfield. You look at the attacking, the two people that are on top, they are usually the two people that are always on top, right? So I have nothing to do with that. The midfield is okay. Adagula is back in there. I don't have problem with Adagula being in there. Now, Camavinga did well against Athletic Club, but I don't think, maybe this game require him, and I get it because Adagula was also doing good stuff when the ball get to him. He was creating chances and he was making things happen. So I understand why Xavi usually picks him in his lineup. So I get that. Like I said you previously, I'm not against him. I rate the guy. I actually do rate the guy. But the back line, and that I blame Xavi for, because nobody is to be blamed for that. You look at Asensio is prone to mistake. Let's not talk about Frank Garcia, right? He shouldn't even be playing for Real Madrid. And let's also talk about the depth in squad that Madrid have, right? If you look at the depth, if you look at the players that are on the bench, you will think that they should be able to come on the pitch and do something, right? Asensio, no, he doesn't have that quality. He shouldn't be at Madrid right now. Frank Garcia, he should be gone, right? I know what's his name just came, Carreras. Like I said, he's finding his foot, so let him find his foot, and then we'll see where he can go with that. But in terms of that, I think Madrid need to bring in a proper left back, and not just a proper left back, but also a proper center back, right? Not center back, but also a right back as well. Because Trent is not it. Trent just came back from injury, now he's gone back injured again, and who knows how long he's going to be out there for. So you need this January window. I know they're worrying about bringing in attackers and all of that, but they should be bringing in fullbacks to kind of help in terms of defense as well, because it's not working. It is not working. And then number two, mentality. Like I said, playing against a low block team, it can be, if you're watching the game, you're not on the pitch, it can be frustrating, let alone you being on the pitch. So when you're playing against a low block team, one thing that you need to do is to show great composure, right? Don't just give the ball out easily. Don't just be frightened on the ball. Don't get frustrated over every little thing that happened. We saw that in Madrid players today. Every one of them was a little bit frustrated, right? The game was not going their way. They were not getting through Celta Vigo, right? They weren't getting through the chances that they had. They weren't buried in it. So now they started to get frustrated. What's his name? Frank Garcia. What was that? Right? 2 yellow cards in the space of a minute. What are you doing? You just got a yellow card and then you turn around, make the tackle that you just made. Listen, even Xavi knew the referee was right on that one. And again, the referee was right. He was on it. And again, they later had another record with Carreras. That's why I talk about the inexperience in that entire back line. So Frank Garcia, Carreras, that's just speak inexperience. Asensio, inexperience. The only experienced person in that entire back line was, what's his name? Militao. And Militao also came out injured. So again, back to my point with Xavi. What was that? And I know there are a lot of injuries in terms of their back line, but come on. I feel like you could have done better. Rudiger could have played that game, and I think it would have gone better, right? Like you did against Atletico. I know you don't favor him, maybe in technicality-wise. Even I don't favor him. But I think this game called for him because you do not have that many options on the bench. But now you have the man on the bench. You have him, and then you have people like Carreras doing what they're doing. Frank Garcia doing what he's doing. Come on, brother. Right? And again, it shows, like I said, the mentality of the team. So if you cannot stay calm when you are losing this type of game, and I know your ego is there, because I'm a Chelsea fan and I know what this is like, playing against those low blocks. We do not know how to win. Whenever we play them, we lose a point or something. Right? So I get it. But to be able to go and again watching your team in this moment is actually very difficult, because as much as you want them to stay composed and not lose their head, right? They being composed is one of the most difficult things as well you will see, because the ball is just moving back and forth. It will feel like the ball is basically just moving back and forth. Like they're not doing nothing because the opposition usually just stay compact, right? And you're done. So in terms of that, I think Madrid need to possibly do a lot better than they did today. It was not, again, the chances that they had Wasn't much, but they should be burying them. Mbappe had one. Adagula also had one. I know him barely got his foot on that ball, but he should be burying it. And now look, like I said, you 4 points behind Barcelona. Listen, if you 4 points behind Celta Vigo, right? I'm not worried. I know they're gonna slip at some point. But if you 4 points behind a team like Barcelona, even they with their highline, right? Even they with their highline, they still managed to win a game. You should be worried at this point that their title race or that their contention for the title right now is in jeopardy because you still have Barcelona to play at Camp Nou. That's not going to be an easy match. You possibly still have other tough matches to play as well. I'm sure you have Atletico Madrid to play again. You have, like I said, Barcelona to play again. You have Real Betis to play again. And Barcelona just played them. You possibly have these difficult matches to play. So these matches at home that you should be winning, take advantage of them. Or otherwise, you just screw yourself over. And I think that's basically what Madrid did today. And like I said, unacceptable. I'm not a Madrid fan, but listen, that was unacceptable from every single one of them today. The backline was a shambles. The midfield didn't really do much. I'll be honest with you, nah, they didn't really do much. And then the attack, it just, I don't know. Listen, it's dead. Like I talked about Mbappe the other day. That's one thing I said about him. As much as I like him, as a player, and he's scoring the amount of goals that he's scoring for Madrid, I also talked about this is the kind of a game that we need him to kind of put on his shoulder. Not just on his shoulder, but also on his head. Take this game, right, and bury it. Because it's not just your teammate playing for you, it's also you also playing for your teammate and making things happen. So I know this is devastating, but Madrid definitely need to find a way to bounce back from the type of result. This is not what we're looking for. This is not, I say we. See, I'm talking like a Madrid fan. Listen, I got my shirt on and everything, right? Listen, on behalf of all Madrid fans right there out there, they need to do better. Madrid definitely need to do better. But hey, let me know your thoughts about everything I just discussed. What do you think? What's your thought about the win? Do you think there's still hope for them in terms of they contending for the title? Now, I believe yes, but let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Stay tuned. More's coming your way. Cheers.